Did you know a single common 401k mistake could quietly cost you over $100,000 by retirement? It's not just about contributing, it's about what you do, or more accurately, what you don't do inside that account. Most people set up their 401k and then completely forget about it, thinking their job is done. But this hands-off approach often leads to severely underperforming investments and missed opportunities, eroding a significant chunk of their potential nest egg. We're talking about a difference that could mean retiring comfortably or having to work years longer than planned. This isn't just theory. I'll show you exactly how this happens with real numbers. The good news? It's entirely avoidable, and I'll walk you through the precise steps to ensure you don't fall victim to this costly oversight. But first, let's nail down the absolute basics of what a 401k actually is and why it's so powerful. So what exactly is a 401k? At its core, it's an employer-sponsored retirement savings plan that allows you to contribute a portion of your pre-tax paycheck directly into investments. Think of it as a special savings account specifically designed for retirement, with some serious tax advantages. For 2026, you can contribute up to $24,500 or $32,500 if you're 50 or older. The money grows tax-deferred, meaning you don't pay taxes on the investment gains year after year. You only pay taxes when you withdraw the money in retirement. This tax deferral is a massive advantage, allowing your money to compound faster without annual tax drag. But that's just the beginning of its power. The real magic, and where many people miss out, lies in something called the employer match, which we'll explore next. The employer match is essentially free money for your retirement. Many companies will match a percentage of what you contribute to your 401k, up to a certain limit. For example, your employer might offer to match 50 cents on every dollar you contribute, up to 6% of your salary. If you earn $60,000 a year and contribute 6%, $3,600, your employer would kick in an additional $1,800. That's an immediate, guaranteed 50% return on your investment, right off the bat. Failing to contribute enough to get the full employer match is like turning down a bonus every single paycheck. It's one of the most common and costly mistakes. Always contribute at least enough to get the full match. It's literally leaving thousands of dollars on the table if you don't. But what about taxes when you eventually take the money out? When setting up your 401k, you'll typically encounter two main options: traditional and Roth. With a traditional 401k, your contributions are made pre-tax, meaning they reduce your taxable income now. Your money grows tax-deferred, and you pay taxes on withdrawals in retirement. This is generally better if you expect to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement than you are now. A Roth 401k, on the other hand, uses after-tax contributions. You don't get an upfront tax deduction, but your qualified withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. This is ideal if you expect to be in a higher tax bracket in retirement. The choice depends heavily on your current income, future expectations, and tax strategy. But regardless of which option you pick, the real challenge and the source of that $100,000 mistake comes down to what you invest in inside the 401k itself. Here's where that $100,000 mistake often originates. Your 401k isn't just a savings account. It's an investment vehicle. And what you choose to invest in within that vehicle dramatically impacts your returns. Many people simply pick the default option, often a money market fund or a very conservative target date fund, without understanding its implications. While target date funds can be convenient, they might not be optimized for your specific risk tolerance or timeline, especially when you're young. If you're 25 and invest too conservatively, like in a fund returning only 3% annually when the market averages 7 to 10%, you're missing out on decades of powerful compound growth. This seemingly small difference in returns can snowball into hundreds of thousands of dollars over 30 to 40 years. Let's look at a concrete example to really drive this home. Let's quantify this $100,000 mistake. Imagine two individuals, both 25, contributing $500 a month to their 401k for 40 years until age 65. Person A, like many, sticks with a conservative investment choice that averages a 4% annual return. Person B, however, takes a more balanced approach, investing in a diversified stock fund averaging 8% annually. Person A ends up with roughly $580,000. Person B, with the same contributions, ends up with over $1.7 million. That's a difference of over $1.1 million, simply from choosing a different investment strategy inside their 401k. Even if the difference is only $100,000, it's still a life-changing amount. This illustrates why understanding your investment options is crucial. But how do you actually pick the right ones when faced with a long list of confusing fund names? Navigating your 401k's investment menu can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Start by looking for low-cost index funds or ETFs that track broad market indices like the S&P 500 or a total U.S. stock market index. These funds offer diversification and typically have very low expense ratios, which means less of your money goes to fees and more stays invested. Avoid actively managed funds with high expense ratios, as they rarely outperform their passive counterparts over the long run. If your plan offers target date funds, consider them, but understand their glide path, how they gradually shift from aggressive to conservative. For younger investors, a target date fund furthest from retirement might still be too conservative. Remember, fees are a silent killer of returns, and that leads us to another hidden danger: understanding those fees. Hidden fees are another component of that $100,000 mistake. While 401k plans have gotten more transparent, fees can still eat into your returns significantly. They often come in various forms: administrative fees, record-keeping fees, and expense ratios of the underlying funds. Even a seemingly small 0.5% difference in annual fees can accumulate to tens of thousands of dollars over decades. For instance, if you have $100,000 invested and pay 1% in fees versus 0.5%, that extra 0.5% costs you $500 a year. Over 30 years compounded, that could easily be $50,000 in lost growth. Always check the expense ratios of the funds you select. Your plan documents or your HR department can provide details on all associated fees. Don't be afraid to ask for a fee disclosure statement. Ignoring fees is a surefire way to chip away at your future wealth. But there's an even bigger myth to debunk. Here's a common myth: you shouldn't invest in your 401k if the market is volatile. This couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, market downturns can be an investor's best friend, especially for those contributing regularly to a 401k. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging. When the market drops, your fixed contribution buys more shares at a lower price. This means when the market eventually recovers, you own more shares that appreciate in value. Think of it like a sale. You wouldn't stop buying groceries when they're cheaper, would you? Historically, the stock market has always recovered and reached new highs over the long term. Pulling out or pausing contributions during a dip means missing out on these discounted shares and the subsequent recovery, severely stunting your long-term growth. Consistent contributions, even during volatility, are key. But what if you need that money sooner than retirement? While a 401k is designed for retirement, life happens. But be aware, taking money out of your 401k before age 59 and a half typically incurs a 10% early withdrawal penalty on top of your regular income tax. For example, if you withdraw $10,000, you could immediately lose $1,000 to the penalty, plus whatever your tax bracket dictates, potentially another $2,000 or more. There are a few exceptions, like if you become totally disabled, use it for unreimbursed medical expenses exceeding a certain percentage of your adjusted gross income, or if you separate from service in the year you turn 55 or later. But generally, view your 401k as untouchable until retirement. This penalty system is designed to encourage long-term savings. So, what are the concrete steps you should take right now to optimize your 401k? Let's turn this knowledge into action. First, log into your 401k portal today. Seriously, do it now. Second, confirm you're contributing at least enough to get the full employer match. If not, adjust your contributions immediately. This is non-negotiable free money. Third, Review your current investment selections. Are you in low-cost index funds or ETFs? Are your expense ratios reasonable, ideally under 0.5% for funds? If you're unsure, consider a broad market index fund or a target date fund that aligns with your risk tolerance, but specifically one for an investor with a longer time horizon. Fourth, consider increasing your contributions by just 1% of your salary each year. You'll barely notice the difference in your paycheck, but it will make a massive impact over decades. These small adjustments can compound into hundreds of thousands more for your retirement. But there's one more advanced strategy that can really accelerate your growth. Here's the advanced trick that many people miss, especially when they get a raise or bonus. Instead of letting your lifestyle inflate with your income, automatically direct a portion of every raise or bonus directly into your 401k. For instance, if you get a 3% raise, commit to increasing your 401k contribution by half of that raise, or 1.5% of your salary. You still get to enjoy the other half of your raise, so you don't feel deprived, but your retirement savings grow significantly faster without any perceived pain. This strategy leverages behavioral economics. You won't miss money you never saw. This systematic increase, combined with employer matching and smart investment choices, is how you truly maximize your 401k potential and avoid leaving that $100,000 or more on the table. It's about being proactive and strategic, not just passive. But what if you've already made mistakes? Remember, the biggest takeaway is to be proactive with your 401k. Secure the employer match, choose low-cost investments, and consistently increase contributions. Even small adjustments today can lead to a dramatically different retirement tomorrow. If you're wondering how to decide between a 401k and an IRA, especially if your employer doesn't offer a great 401k, then watch our video on Roth versus traditional IRA, which one saves you $200,000. It'll help you navigate those crucial choices. If you found this information helpful, please consider subscribing for more insights that simplify your path to financial freedom.